On March the 8th, Hong Kong introduced this new Safeguarding National Security Law bill to Legislative Council. And this law will list 5 new categories of offenses, such as treason, insurrection, espionage, theft of state secrets, sabotage national security, and external interferences. And those who convicted of those crimes will face tougher penalties as well. So can you tell us why it's important for Hong Kong to have such law?
Well, it's absolutely important. This is basically answering the requests of the population, of people who born here or they, moved here to do business, trade, or clearly, if there's no stability, you can't talk about. Well, if you don't have national security, there's no stability in government. You can't really talk about economic advancement, cultural advancement, and so on, scientific advancement. Here in Hong Kong, there's been a consultation about this. Well, first of all, it's our constitutional duty. 26 years too late to pass this law. Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, as a part of China, owes the country, 1.4 billion people, the duty to discharge, to protect our national security. You saw what happened in Xinjiang, Western media, Western government-sponsored smearing campaign. I guess, trying to stop the advancement of vertical cooperation between Eurasia. And also in Hong Kong, you saw what happened in 2019. Schools have to shut down, hospitals face a lot of problems, businesses have to shut down. That caused a lot of difficulties. So after a month of consultation, 13,000 responses in individual names or organizational names, such as professional institutions like Law Society, the Bar Association, and many international chambers of commerce, 98.6% overwhelmingly asked for this law for safeguarding national security. We need this because without it, there's no real basis or for us to raise a family, have a business, make a living, and have a future for the next generation. Absolutely important.
You probably have heard such concerns from several international media and several Western commentators as well. They worry whether it's still safe to live in Hong Kong. And one of their major concerns is that they think what counts, what defines as state secrets, as national secrets are unclear. What do you say to them?
First, I wonder who they are, why they say it, why now, and why these are of concern. I mean, if you're a law-abiding citizen, law-abiding company, why would this be worry, right? I mean, you mentioned the 5 key areas, right? Why would any company or person want to engage in treason? In the US, for example, under the US Constitution, as I understand it, if you commit treason, it's a death penalty. Here, it's a maximum. There's no death penalty here. Although we're both common law jurisdictions, it is potentially a life sentence. But if you look at concerns, I don't see any. If you look at, if there were concerns, you wouldn't get 98.6% overwhelming support. The law, the draft law, the bill clearly states the need to fully respect human rights. So the right to expression, right to assembly, right to lawyer, right to a fair trial, presumption of innocence, it's all there, fully protected. And some want to maybe scare people away. I mean, it is really part of the so-called de-risking or decoupling, whatever terminology one might want to label it, but it's essentially to steer business away from here to some other places, sponsored by, sponsoring those media perhaps. So you ask the business people, the people in Hong Kong, you talk to even the consul generals in Hong Kong, some might not repeat this openly, but essentially they're all in full support. Of 193 countries in the world, every country have the need to protect their national security. Every country should protect their people, their territorial integrity, and the right to advance in the economy. That's protected by the United Nations Charter as well. I noticed some people suggested, raise a concern over, national security. What does that mean? What about this? Is that national security? What about that? These are kind of like trying to, unfairly trying to see where the red line is, right? Where not to cross. But I think the bill clearly meets international best practice and standards. This is, after all, Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Hong Kong is a common law jurisdiction. In common law jurisdictions like the US, UK, the US have over 20 national security laws. UK recently, last year, passed a substantially strengthened law that's, if you say Hong Kong's draconian, they are more draconian.
You are one of the deputies from the 36 deputies of the Hong Kong delegation to this year's, the 14th National People's Congress. So can you share with us what bills and proposals the Hong Kong delegation have submitted to the National People's Congress to improve the living standards of people in Hong Kong?
Well, certainly, as a Hong Kong deputies to the National People's Congress, we care a lot about Hong Kong, but also not just Hong Kong. It's in the whole nation's interest. It's always better to, just like Belt and Road Initiative, a win-win initiative is always better. So, with that said, I believe this year, of these 36 delegates from Hong Kong, we must have put forward over 200 proposals, but we don't waste people's time in the sense that we know there's a saying amongst ourselves, you have no right to speak if you don't, no right to make a proposal if you don't really think it through, investigate. So do not waste people's time. Over the past year and years, we continue to work with people from all walks of life. Some people we don't know, they just come up and say to my office and say, hey, this is a problem. How can we improve livelihood in Hong Kong, in other parts of the country, or how can our country contribute to this internationally, green economy and EV and all that we are leading. How can we help other jurisdictions? In artificial intelligence, that is very important, right? As you know, the new development engine, right, for Industry 4.0. So anyway, there are ethical issues to deal with, right? And how we could better utilize a lot of the resources we have in Hong Kong and other parts of China. There are a couple of things I proposed, but one of them is to highlight the need to ease the flow of data from mainland China to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a very free economy. We have a lot of freedom of movement in everything, right? So it is the place to be to develop a generative AI. It's a buzzword, right? Generative AI, ChatGPT, and the others. But a lot of them suffer with hallucination because they only read so much. They only do deep learning based on a limited set of data from a particular area and language of the world, so that the developed system doesn't have a world view. Without a world view, what it outputs is often based on those biased information it was fed.